Nava Tatva 115 Nayatya Suti OEM. The 9 Principles of Things. The following are 9 Principles of Things. 1. Animation. 2. Inanimate matter. 3. Merit. 4. Demerit. 5. Appetite and passion, and other provocatives to sin. 6. Self-denial, and other helps to virtue. 7. Means to free the mind from worldly attachments. 8. Worldly attachments. 9. Pinel delivered asterisk. Of the first and second of these there are 14 varieties. Of the third, 42. Of the original is as follows: GW. The Sanskrit equi. Talents are GTFR, GTT, FWTWWY, FWWYT. 116. Black square, Nava Tatva. Boxerdly, EIGLITY2. Of the fifth, 42. Of the sixth, 57. Of the seventh, 12. Of the eighth, 4. And of the ninth, 9. Animated beings may be considered under 1, 2, 3, 4, FI.VE, or 6 aspects, simply as possessed of life, as vegetables and animals, as male, female, and of neither sex, as men, brutes, demons, and gods, as possessed of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 senses, and as having a body of earth, water, fire, wind, wood, or flesh. The 14 kinds of animate beings are as follows. First, objects with 1 sense, which are of 2 kinds, those that are invisible or seen with difficulty, and those that are easily seen. These are fire, air, earth, and vegetables. Secondly, beings with 5 senses, some of which have a mind, as Nein, gods, demons, fowls, and all animals and fishes that are produced, in the Jain estimation, from parents, and others have no mind, as beings in the embryo state, and those generated, as the Jains think, by equivocal generation, from phlegm, slime, and sea, as some kinds of fishes and serpents. There are then beings possessed of 2 senses, viz., touch and taste, as shellfish, and others having 3, viz., touch, taste and smell, as ants and fleas, and still a third class, with 4 senses, wanting only hearing, as flies, bees and scorpions. Each of these 7 classes of animals may be complete in all their powers or parts, or in calm. Nava Tatva. LLV. Pleat, forming like 14 distinctions among animated beings asterisk. The most exalted properties of animated beings are knowledge, perception, initiation into a religious life, like practice of self-denial, be possession of power, and be employment of means to obtain an end. The following things sustain life: food, a body, the senses, the power of breathing, the power of speech, and mental power. The first 4 belong to creatures that have but 1 sense, the first 5 to creatures having 2, 3, and 4 senses, or 5 without a mind, and all the 6 to the creatures that have a mind. There are 10 vital airs concerned in the sustaining of life, 1 for each of the 5 senses, 1 that supports the breathing, 1 on which the term of life depends, and the 3 invigorating airs, 1 for the mind, a 2nd for the speech, and the 3rd for the bodily frame. Beings with 1, 2, 3, and 4 senses have the first 4, 6, 7, and 8 of these. The original word translated with mind is Sanskrit TFSTT. The word for complete is black square QFTRTT. Sanskrit. The additions within brackets are all from the comment, and so in future, except 1 or 2 from oral information. 118. Nava Tatva. Respectively, those with 5 senses and without a mind have only 9 vital airs. The union of these with a body constitutes the state of life, and their disjunction the state of death. Fire, earth, and water are called elements. Trees and flowers of all kinds are called existential. Beings with less than 5 senses are called respirers. Paragraph. And the 4 classes of beings with 5 senses, YLZ, gods, men, brutes, and demons, are called properly animated beings. 2. The 14 distinctions of things without life are solids, fluids, and airs, each of which has 3 aspects: the whole, a territory, and the district, asterisk. Add to these time, and the 4 distinctions of a body, the whole body, a region, a member, and an atom, and the number is completed. Inanimate objects are then divisible into 4 classes: solids, fluids, bodies, and air. Fluids. IRRWT, TS. Percent S. Paragraph XTTWTS. TTTWT. 2FWTSWRSTT SEN. RRIRRTWTST. SAIS. TTG. C asterisk. Nava Tatva. 119. Form a medium and weakly motion can be performed. Solids are stable, air forms the atmosphere, and body is matter formed for the habitation of a living principle, and has the 4 divisions named above. The divisions of time are Samaya, Avali, Mutrita, days, demilunations, months, years, ages, Kalyas, oceans, Skara, Atsarpini, and Avesarpane. The first is an infinitesimal part of time, and there are 16,777,216, 16,777,216, Avali and Amutharna, 48 minutes. The 2 last are the Jainers. Maser inner the time between the creation and destruction of the world, as elsewhere explained. 3. The rewards of merit, and themselves productive of merit, are birth in a good family, in one of the 2 conditions of manhood directly or indirectly by being removed to a human womb in the embryo state, as narrated of Mahavira, the 2 conditions of Godhead as he for the possession of the 5 senses, and of one of the 5 bodies. These are a natural body, Advirika, a supernatural assumed temporarily, Vaikriya, 1 a cubit long, to go to Mahavidehi, a particular terrestrial continent, to obtain of the Tirthankaras there a solution of doubts, Rika, a luminous body, Tejasvi, those of the gods, and any body obtained as the 120. Nava Tatva. Fruit of merit, Karmika, to possess also the booze like adamant, and the perfect form of a Tirthankari, a good color, smell, taste, touch, and the proper proportion of heaviness and lightness, inoffensiveness, moderate breathing, a brilliant countenance, elegant motion, and members all properly balanced, the state of a god, that of a man, that of the highest classes of animals, and that of a Tirthankar. These, in addition to the following 10 modes of action, form the 42 meritorious states. The modes of action are voluntary motion, right use of the senses, of all the other organs, a separate body for the soul to act on, firmness in action, pleasantness in deportment, elegant gesture, speaking with a sweet voice, in a persuasive manner, and so as to elicit praise. IV. The effects and causes of sin are the following. The 10 divisions of want of knowledge, first of things mental, then of words, then want of perfect knowledge of sensible objects, the want of knowledge of what is doing, and all the 45 divisions of the WMRLD, then in the 15th the abode of man, next, want of omniscience. Besides there is incapacity of giving, inability to obtain the object of desire, incapacity of securing delight, and inability to enjoy. There are also 9 natural infirmities, imperfection of sight and sleep, of the former 4, and of the latter 5, VIC, total want of sight, incapability of seeing what is not before. Nava Tatva 121. The eyes, incapability of seeing all that is done on earth, incapability of seeing all things. And sleep, deep sleep, sleep in which one can sit or stand, sleep in which a person can walk about, mesmeric sleep, in which a tooth might be pulled out or limb cut OTF without the patient's knowledge, and in which he can exert supernatural strength in accomplishing plans thought of during the day asterisk. Next there is earth in a low family, any act that gives pain, false worship, the state of any of the 10 kinds of living beings destitute of motion, any of the 3 states in hell, descending nature ally there, being drawn away to it, and living in it, being under the influence of any of the 25 passions, 16 proper, as anger, pride, love, covetousness, each of 4 kinds, and things connected with passion, as laughter, and 6 things, and the 3 sexual states of animals, the 4 classes of living beings with 1, 2, 3, and 4 senses, bad gait, natural defects, as a buck tooth, and also disagreeable color, smell, taste, or feel, any one of the 5 conditions of the bones or form of the body other than that above described, under the opposite head, all these are con. This is called BJ, the Jains Avapani Nidra, although I cannot learn that they are acquainted with any process by which it is induced. 122. Nava Tatva. I acted with the principle of sin. Besides, there are want of proper motion in any member of the body, extreme minuteness, improper development, excessive haïness, want of firmness, and the following acts, indelicate contact, touching any part of the body below the navel, causing distress to any being, inharmonious sound, disobedience, disrespect. The appetites and passions, and other incitements to sin. These are the 5 senses and the 4 passions, anger, pride, love, covetousness, bullet, the 5 sinful acts, killing, stealing, lying, adultery, devotedness to the world, the 3 yogas, applications of the mind, speech, and body, to worldly objects, besides the 20 following acts, walling carelessly, and so endangering the life of insects, landing a weapon, wishing ill to any being, teasing any being or injuring them, beginning any work, as plowing, the reception of a gift, the exercise of cunning, accusing the Jain sacred books of falsehood, acting without any rule, seeing stage plays, tatukun things forbidden, as horses, bulls, and women, which are prohibited to ascetics, hearing one's own praises proclaimed, bearing weapons, beating animals, purchasing articles to sell them at a profit, piercing any animal with a weapon, doing things with carelessness, disregard of the good opinion of gods and men, ordering others to do what you should do yourself. Nava Tatva 123. Mingling in a crowd of people, currying favor with others, cherishing malicious purposes, Ari asterisk traveling, in which, from liability to tread on small insects, the danger of sinning is incurred. Why? Self-denial, religious restraint, and other helps to a course of virtuous action. These are the 5 cares about externals, the 5 cares about internals, 20 kinds of patient endurance, and 10 kinds of virtuous actions. Of the first named, attention to the road on which you walk, that there be no insects on it to sustain injury, attention to what you say, and what you eat, care boy what you receive, that you do not put it down one, and the ground, and allow ants to mingle with it, and care about excretions. Of the second named, or care about internals, there is one care to exclude improper and to introduce religious subjects of meditation, care to cover your mouth when you speak, lest some fly or animal enter it, and to avoid all kinds of sin. The following things are to be patiently borne: hunger, thirst, cold, heat, the bite of any animal, while you are engaged in religious worship, dirty and ragged clothes, the solicitations of passion, the absence of female society, the inconveniences of travel, the appearance of ghosts, an uncomfortable couch, railing, murderous blows, begging, disappointment in obtaining what we desire, disease, a straw pallet, dirt, honor, the praise of knowledge, the disgrace. 124. Nava Tatva of ignorance and religious doubts. The 10 acts are as follows: the mildness that restrains wrath, the humility which subdues pride, the simplicity which is opposed to cunning, the spirituality which is opposed to worldly mindedness, fasting and austerities, self-restraint, speaking the truth, tender regard for the life of all creatures, abandonment of all worldly possessions, celibacy and chastity. These things contain the principles of the Jain religion. VII. Easing the mind from worldly attachments. To effect this, the following 9 reflective Ns are to be kept before the mind: that all things are unstable, that death and the ills of life cannot be prevented, that man is driven through a succession of states in different worlds, that the same life is frequently passing through births and deaths, that the body is but a receptacle for filth, that man is through the actions he is called on to perform exposed to innumerable temptations to sin, that these may be resisted, and that works of all kinds should be abstained from. In addition to these, the following 3 reflections should be made: that man is by his form fitted for religious exercises, that to obtain such a body is difficult, and therefore that he who has obtained it should give his whole attention to the subject of religion. These are the 12 spiritual reflections. Besides these, there are the 5 sacraments. The first is Nava Tatva. 125. Introduction to Black Jain religion. I.e. a vow to abstain from all injury, and to exercise compassion towards all living creatures. B. Second is initiation into an ascetic life. By WMCB, all former sins are obliterated. Next, the sacrament of the greater penance, being 18 months fasting and reading for an ascetic who threatens to leave the community, and the lesser penance, of shorter periods, for abolitions of passion and slight faults. And lastly, there is the sacrament of renown, when the true disciple, breaking through all the entanglements of the world, attains to the state where there is immortality and freedom from decay. There are 6 kinds of external austerity: entire abstinence for a limited time, taking a mouthful less and less every day, the resolution to eat only if the article, place, time, and disposition are in accordance with a previously formed conception in the mind, the refusing all savory articles of diet, afflicting the body, as tearing out the hair, restraining the senses, not looking at objects of temptation. There are also 6 internal austerities: repentance, humility, resolution to feed holy men, reading of holy books and instructing others in the same, religious meditation, and lastly, raising the mind above all worldly desires. Such are the restraints that prepare the mind for emancipation. VD. Worldly attachments. These are 4. 126. Nava Tatva. Kinds, and have reference to the nature, time, sensible qualities, and place of the objects which affect the mind. The first refers to their essence, the second to the time of their continuance, the third to their flavor, smell, and see, and the fourth to the places in which they are found. Restraints and attachments are of the following kinds: covering, as the restraint of sight by a bandage over the eyes; foreign agency, as that of a porter stopping one at a door; terror, as the restraint from eating honey on the edge of a sharp sword; the fascination of affection; confinement in the stocks; the attraction of beautiful objects, and paintings; considerations of rank, like a potter examining the different grades of the vessels he has made; and delays, as those experienced at the treasury when money is wanted. So much for the subject of worldly attractions. IX. Relative to the state of final emancipation, there are 6 things stated: that there is really such a state, the size of the emancipated lives, and of the place where they live, their tangible quality ties, the duration of their existence, the distance at which they are from one another, their parts. The original here is simple J, and the explanation is after the manner of a painter F, but I am not sure I have hit the exact idea. Nava Tatva 127. Their natures, their murmurs. Although, however, these things may be predicated of it, nevertheless, as emancipation is a simple term, so it is expressive of a simple object, and not like sky flower, which is a compound term embodying more than one idea. Of this thing emancipation, we are now to declare the new means of attainment. The road to emancipation lies through particular states, viz., the possession of senses and a body, also the condition of possibility or impossibility, the possession of passions, and of knowledge and vision, through the sacraments, through minute obstacles, the paths of rectitude, the possession of a mind or the contrary, and abstinence or the contrary. By these, then, emancipation is only obtained in the state of manhood, not in that of a good demon or brute, while in possession of 5 senses, while possessing a body capable of voluntary motion, in a condition of possibility, while possessing a mind, through the sacrament of the highest asceticism, in that path of rectitude in which there is no retrogression, through the possession of perfect knowledge and vision, and in the practice of abstinence. It is not obtainable through any other path. The space occupied by each of the perfect is boundless, and increases according to anyone's desire. The term in which they remain in this state is also infinite. Their parts are innumerable. There is no returning again to a worldly. 128. Nava Tatva state, and no interruption to their bliss. They have perfect vision and knowledge. They have no dependence on works, heard exercise themselves AC according to the highest philosophy. Such is the life of the perfect. Few neuters, not more than 10 at a time, and a small proportion of females, not more than 20 at a time, obtain perfection. The perfect consist chiefly of males, of which 108 may be emancipated at once. Such is the doctrine of emancipation, and the conclusion of the tract, or the 9 principles of things. He who is acquainted with these 9 principles, and lays hold of them by faith, is perfect in knowledge. He who is ignorant of them cannot be perfect in knowledge. The words and doctrine of all the Jain lords is here, and nowhere else to be found. Therefore, he whose mind is instructed in these, possesses true and stable knowledge. He who has had this knowledge impressed on his mind for only an hour, is detained only by half the mental and bodily attraction that he was before. In time there are infinite cycles, of which an infinite number have passed, and an infinite number are to come. Among sages there are the following distinctions: genus, and those not genus, tirthankaras, and those who are not, householders and mendicants, and regular ascetics, men, women, and eunuchs, those instructed by 8. Nava Tatva 129. Private individual, the self-taught, and those brought up under regular teachers, those who are emancipated singly, and those emancipated in the body.